Let's talk about Star Wars Yoda Dark Rendezvous by Sean Stewart. So I got a comment a few weeks ago saying, Jeremy, you need to reward yourself. You need to stop reading trash. And I'm like, okay. So Yoda Dark Rendezvous, it is. This is the only book where Yoda is the main character, although it's arguable if he's like the protagonist per se. It's called Yoda Dark Rendezvous, but we have two Padawans that are really the main characters. We have Scout and Wee. Scout is a Padawan that is very clever, but not a powerful Force user. She's kind of like a Zane Carrick, only less powerful than him. And she just doesn't have a good grasp of the Force. Whereas Wee is sort of a prodigy. He has visions of the future in his dreams. And they kind of butt heads throughout the book. They have a nice dynamic going on in this. Meanwhile, the main plot of this is that Count Dooku has reached out to Yoda to have a rendezvous on Vizhun, where he's thinking about defecting to the Republic. Now, we know this is a ruse, but we get some good stuff with Dooku in this, where Dooku reminisces about being a Jedi, which we don't get a lot of in the expanded universe. It's one of those things I wish after the Revenge of the Sith had come out, we would have gotten a series of Dooku books. Now, we do have some stuff in, like, books like Darth Plagueis or, like, Legacy of the Jedi, where we see a younger Dooku in those, a Jedi Dooku. But overall, we don't get a lot of him. And fortunately, we get some of his, like, origin as a Jedi, and he is thought of as probably one of the greatest Jedi that Yoda has ever come across. One of the greatest students he ever had. And so Yoda's going to go to Vizhun to have a dark rendezvous with him. Now, you might be wondering, I've heard of this planet Vizhun. What have I heard it from? Well, it's where Vader's castle is in Dark Empire, where the Emperor's clones are. That's on Vizhun. Vizhun is a planet that's steeped in the dark side of the Force. A terrible event happened that drove all of the human inhabitants mad. The human inhabitants had a high midichlorian count, and they were all kind of Force sensitive. In fact, Hui is from there. Which is interesting and does play into the book, but I will not spoil that. We also get a lot of Asajj Ventress in this. This is probably one of her bigger book roles. Though, as I recall, she's in Cestus Deception too, but it's been a long time since I read that. We also get a little bit of Anakin and Obi-Wan, which is kind of the weaker points of the book. It just felt tacked on. This is newly knighted Anakin, so we're right after Jedi Trial, but it's before the events of the last two Boba Fett books and his confrontation with Ventress on Coruscant, where he gets maimed. So it's kind of right in the middle of the war. And we get a lot of stuff with the Jedi in this book, which makes sense. It's a Yoda book. It's kind of funny that I chose to read this after reading True Colors, because this is a counterpoint to True Colors, because True Colors just blames the Jedi for everything, because Karen Traviss hates the Jedi. I don't know why. She's just a weirdo. But this says, like, hey, the clones aren't just the ones that are being used here. The Jedi are doing things that go against their beliefs in order to try to keep the peace. They have become a military. This is not what the Jedi were supposed to be. This is the reason that, like, all the events of Rule of Two happened, you know? Where we did this already. We had our army of light And look what it caused us. A thought bomb happened and, like, wiped out a good chunk of the Jedi Order. So, yeah, the Jedi are not happy about this. And we get to see Jedi defecting, well, not defecting to the Separatists necessarily, but leaving the Jedi Order, stopping being Jedi. Jedi are questioning, what's it going to take to win this war? And I really like that. I like Yoda gives a lot of philosophy in this book. It is Yoda. It's a perfect blend of prequel Yoda and Empire Strikes Back Yoda. With his teaching, he's always teaching in his own ways. He loves his swampy soups. I love that little thing, and I really love that we get like a family dynamic between Wee and Scout and their masters and Yoda, because they end up becoming like a group that goes undercover to try to get to Vizhun. So Yoda's not going alone. And I like that. I love Yoda's like cranky hijinks he gets into in this book. I did laugh out loud. And I just love the juxtaposition of everything in this. It's just such a well put together book. And I find it frustrating that this is Sean Stewart's one Star Wars book. The only one. It's unfortunate we live in a universe where Sean Stewart got one Star Wars book and Karen Traviss got like 8. Possibly more. I think it was not. 10 if we count the TCW movie novelization. It just frustrates me. Karen Travis's books are just so bad for the most part. And it's just like, Sean Stewart writes a almost perfect novel. The only reason I say it's not perfect, we got the Anakin Obi-Wan stuff. We also have brief Padme cameo that serves no purpose whatsoever. As like some weird bookend thing that I think should have just been cut. It literally served no purpose whatsoever. I don't know. But overall, what would I rank this book? Honestly, it's probably my favorite of the Clone Wars novels, because Del Rey didn't... The Del Rey stuff's typically, when it comes to Clone Wars, is weaker, especially after the multimedia project. I mean, almost all of that's garbage. Anything post 2005, it's got Clone Wars. It's a Clone Wars tie-in. It's mostly trash. That's where we get our Commando sequels, Wild Space, Siege and Gambit. Just need I say more? Like some of the worst Star Wars books ever written, come out off of the multimedia project, and I really think that Star Wars fans shouldn't have wanted more Clone Wars stuff after Revenge of the Sith. We should have been done. Perfect event. Marry them together. I mean, sure, you have bad things like Jedi Trial, but like most of it's pretty well worth your time to read and just a good time. But no, we had to continue and continue and continue. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still writing Clone Wars stuff for the new canon. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Do I know for sure? No, but I don't really care all that much, so it is what it is. Anyway, what would I rank this? I think I would rank it a 4.9 out of 5. It almost makes that 5-star ranking, except for like Anakin Obi-Wan. It's not really necessary to have them. There's like a few things you could cut. And that really comes down to this book was rushed. I think it only took he wrote it over a period of a few months. And that's crazy to me, because this shockingly got the green light from George Lucas. And you can tell like that this was like, okay, yeah, but it has to be out now. So it's a very fast paced read, but it's really well written and well worth your time to check out. So anyway, have a nice day.